What if the devil's greatest trick wasn't convincing you he doesn't exist? What if it was convincing you to film him? Welcome to the Deliverance boom, where demons don't hide in darkness. They audition under key lights. I'm Veritas Vox, and I'm choosing sides. This hunger to capture manifestations isn't zeal, it's zoo. The spectacle is the sermon, the algorithm is the altar, the possessed are props in a liturgy of views. We call it bold faith. It looks like voyeurism with a Bible verse. Notice the choreography. A handheld mic in the minister's fist, a branded backdrop, a plastic bucket, just in case, a row of ushers choreographing collapse like stage hands timing a curtain drop. None of this proves fraud. It proves theater. Tears cue strings, gags cue gasps. Someone's terror becomes our catechism in 60 seconds. The camera's red light functions like a sacrament. Once it turns on, meaning is conferred. Without it, would we care? Glory to God, the caption says, while a stranger's most humiliating moment loops on repeat. Their story is recut for retention, their dignity cropped for thumbnail space. We say we hate the devil. We clearly love his drama. Because drama clicks, and what clicks rules. The early church cast out demons quietly and left no highlight reels. We cast them out loudly and open a merch table. Ask yourself, if deliverance requires a camera, whose deliverance is it? Theirs or ours from boredom? If every week needs a wilder clip, how long before the manifestations escalate to feed the machine? The gospel does not need jump cuts. Holiness does not need a hook. But our hearts do, and that is the problem. The set tells the story before a single verse is read. LED walls pulse like veins. Subs rumble under the floorboards. A camera cranes over the altar like an angel with a KPI. Ushers stand in formation, one to steady, one to spot a fall, one to slide tissues into the shot with the timing of a comedian's punchline. You don't need to fake anything when the frame already preaches. Power is here. Manifestation is normal. If nothing happens, something is wrong with you. Liturgies train souls. Here the liturgy is volume. The command is shouted, the crowd answers with chanting, the afflicted convulse on cue because the room's script has colonized imagination. Is there real evil? Yes, but evil loves spectacle. It rides the acoustics. The longer the mic lingers on a sobbing mouth, the more the congregation learns to crave visible crisis over invisible holiness. The camera industrializes awe, mass produces it, wraps it in lower thirds, exports it as proof. Memory obeys pictures. Next time you pray, your mind will summon not scripture, but slow-motion deliverance B-roll, splayed hands, trembling lips, a victorious roar. That becomes your measure for whether God moved. If tears didn't fall and a body didn't drop, maybe heaven stayed shut. Quiet sanctification can't compete with viral warfare. And conflict is contagious. Once the room is trained, the minister doesn't lead. The feedback loop does. Bigger reactions feed bigger commands, feed bigger reactions. You don't fake it, you inflate it. The devil doesn't mind losing a wrestling match he arranged across a stage he rented, so long as the audience leaves addicted to spiritual adrenaline. They'll come back, they'll bring friends, they'll need more. Name it to tame it, we're told. So the new homiletics rebrands every sorrow a spirit. Not lust, but a spirit of lust. Not trauma, but a spirit of trauma. Not panic, but a spirit of anxiety. Do powers and principalities exist? Yes. But a cosmology, where every shadow is a being with a biography, turns people into haunted houses. The cross becomes a toolkit. Pastors become paranormal technicians. This taxonomy sells because it relieves responsibility. If rage is a demon, I am a victim of occupancy, not a participant in sin. It also relieves complexity. If despair is an intruder, I don't need therapy or community. I need a clip-worthy confrontation. The line between body, brain, and spirit, historically delicate, gets bulldozed by theater. Suffering is dramaturgy. Nuance is bad TV. Text after text is conscripted into this war without context. These signs will follow becomes a programming guide. The Gadarene story becomes a franchise template. And yet the New Testament's deliverances are shockingly unsentimental. Few details, no branding, never a weekly content pillar. Today's boom teaches the opposite. Details sell, branding reassures, weekly pillars keep the funnel warm. The devil didn't write that playbook. Marketers did. Worst of all, the demon catalog breeds suspicion. Stand still too long and you're trembling might be a python spirit. Disagree and you're manifesting. Cry and you're being delivered. Don't cry and you're resisting. The only outcome unallowed is quiet faithfulness. It has no spectacle value. So the afflicted perform their own liberation, hoping the room will finally clap them clean. Drop your questions in the comments. You leave a like and subscribe, and I'll give you an answer. Consent is not a checkbox you glide past with a waiver and a smile. A person in crisis is not a free agent. They are raw, suggestible, desperate to please the room that promises relief. And yet the lens leans in, harvesting a face in collapse. We call it testimony. Let's be honest. It's trauma on demand, edited for replay, optimized for discovery. After the altar, the internet is forever. A child's trembling face becomes a reaction meme in someone else's group chat. A mother's guttural wail is looped under dubstep. But God got the glory. Did he? Or did we? Glory doesn't need a mid-roll ad. Dignity doesn't require that we replay the moment of a stranger's worst humiliation to stranger's delight. The camera rewrites roles. The afflicted are story beats. The midpoint meltdown, the climax scream, the denouement of limp relief. The minister is the protagonist whose courage conquered darkness, copyright pending. The audience is the chorus whose gasps confirm that real ministry occurred. If the clip underperforms, did the demon leave at all? There is a holiness to the unfilmed. It refuses to trade mystery for metrics. It trusts that the Lord sees even if no one else clicks. Today's boom mistrusts the unfilmed. It acts as if heaven requires receipts. So we keep rolling, just in case. We frame the sob just right. We type the caption that will make the tears convert. Then we call the upload an altar, and the views a move of God. Maybe. Or maybe we have perfected a mill for grinding souls into content. The platform is hungry, and hunger edits doctrine. A quiet prayer won't trend. A violent manifestation might. A nuanced homily won't recommend. A 9-minute exorcism will autoplay. So the content tilts. Not necessarily by deceit, by gravity. The most extreme clips float to the top, crowning themselves as normative Christianity in the world's feed. Monetization perfumes the room. Donation links glow beneath the meltdown. Conference tickets open the week after the viral hit. It's for ministry, we say, and perhaps it is. But money is a microphone that speaks in frequencies our conscience can't hear. When outrage or astonishment equals income, astonishment will grow. If last week's shriek did 500,000, this week's must top it. Today's devil is yesterday's baseline. This treadmill punishes the truly suffering. Their pain is not performative enough to serve the machine, so it is ignored. Or worse, coached. A discreet tremor is useless. A full-body collapse, that's deliverance. Cue tears, collect clicks, storyboard the comeback montage. Meanwhile, the quiet saint in the 6th row, carrying grief like a cross, learns that heaven listens only to those who scream on cue. We don't need a conspiracy when we have incentives. The algorithm catechizes emotions toward spectacle, then rewards shepherds who comply. Shepherds become impresarios. Sanctuaries become sets. Spirits become story structure. And the words move of God stretch to cover what the graph already explained. Retention was high. When everything is a demon, everyone is suspect. The traumatized child becomes a host. The grieving widow is whispered about as under oppression. The autistic teen's meltdown is misread as a manifestation and handled like an invasion, not a person. Fear spreads like incense. If you suffer, something invaded. If you don't perform deliverance correctly, something stayed. False positives multiply. Real medical and psychological needs are sidelined because cameras can't film neurotransmitters. People who don't get free on schedule spiral into despair. Maybe I didn't renounce hard enough, scream loud enough, collapse convincingly enough. Meanwhile, abusers weaponize the vocabulary. A spirit made me do it. And the crowd catechized by spectacle nods. The devil did it. The sinner gets press. Families fracture over diagnoses that should have been compassion, not combat. Churches split into camps. The ones who film, the ones who flinch. The quiet work of bearing one another's burdens looks unimpressive next to a viral shriek, so it starves. You can't trend Galatians 6:2. You can trend, get out. And then there are the false negatives. Evil that loves the lights, plays along, screams when expected, and departs right on cue, leaving behind a congregation high on victory and blind to the harder bondages, lies, greed, spiritual pride, domination cloaked as authority. The devil is not shy. He's strategic. If applause costs us discernment, he will earn it nightly. By their fruit, you will know them, not by their footage. What fruit ripens where deliverance as content thrives? Constant suspicion, masquerading as discernment. Addiction to emotional spikes mistaken for faith. A theology that sprints from one public crisis to the next, while the private life withers. Ministers who learn to command a room better than they learn to weep with it. Where is the patient endurance of ordinary holiness, the forgiveness that never trends, the reconciliations the camera can't capture because shame isn't spectacle? Where is the decrease of ego? Where is the love that grows more tender toward the weak rather than more hungry for their footage? The fruit looks meager, but the metrics sing. Some will protest, but people are getting free. Yes, God is merciful in spite of us. He can write straight with crooked pencils. A miracle in a circus is still a miracle. The question isn't, does anything good happen? It's, what kind of people are we becoming? If the answer is impatient, theatrical, suspicious, self-congratulating, then we have fashioned not a deliverance culture, but a dopamine culture with a demon costume. The devil is fine being cast out of a body if he can move into a culture. He'd trade 10 shrieking exits for one congregation enslaved to the rush. Because that rush needs new devils weekly. And if real ones are scarce, we will invent them out of ordinary pain, ordinary sin, ordinary grief, sacrificed on the altar of proof. If deliverance is real, and I believe it is, it belongs to love, not to lighting rigs. The devil is not a co-star. The afflicted are not exhibits. The church is not a channel. Stop calling hunger for spectacle hunger for God. Stop dressing addiction to intensity as bold faith. The king we claim to serve cast out devils with a sentence and forbade the spotlight. He told witnesses to be quiet, then went on to heal the next soul without a sizzle reel. I am Veritas Vox. I refuse the lie that the gospel needs your clip to be powerful. I refuse the altar of proof that feeds on the privacy of the weak. I refuse the counterfeit deliverance that delivers us only from silence. If your Jesus requires an audience to be mighty, find the real one, the one who moves in rooms so small only heaven notices. Let the camera blink. Let the algorithm starve. Let the sanctuaries lose their subs and find their tears. If the devil hates anything, it is not a shout. It is a saint without a stage. Choose that obscurity. Choose that dignity for the broken. Choose the miracle no one can monetize. Then maybe, when the lights die and the noise fades, the kingdom will come like it always has. Unfilmed, undeniable, and free.